What's up, everybody? My name's Anthony.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Red, White, and Blue Life. So today, first of all, I'd like to say I'm sorry. We're late uploading. Kind of falls between both of us. But for the 8 of you guys that watch us, we're still here, still doing it.
Still kicking.
Anyways, so today's a big day in terms of news.
Yeah, we got some things coming out here. Today we're going to focus on the Supreme Court and what they have been coming down their pipeline.
Which is big stuff. Big stuff. Today is the first day of the 21 to 22 term. And they've got a list of 5 big ones, but we're going to focus on the main 2. You want to start off with the first one?
Yeah. Well, first let's talk about the Supreme Court in general.
Okay.
So, as you know, the Supreme Court, in the name itself, the Supreme, it goes over the Court of Appeals. It's the highest court in the land. But a little bit about the justices themselves. It is a lifetime position. So once they get elected, they are in there for life. And they do get a healthy benefit package. They get roughly $300,000 per year. They get 3 months off in the summer. And they get their benefits for life.
Right, which is why today's their first day back.
Yeah.
And it's the first day back face-to-face since COVID happened. They've been doing things remotely, and now it's back face-to-face. Yep. With the exception of one dude. He got COVID, even though he was vaccinated. And, well, not weird.
It's weird. Statistically, you're less likely to.
I guess so, yeah. Anyways, he got COVID, and he's going to be the computer head on the edge of the desk. So
the one reason why we want to talk about this first is because about the justices themselves. When they get elected, their idea is to not hold affiliation for one side. You will hear that there are left-leaning and right-leaning justices, but I think ideally the main reason why they have a lifetime job is because they're not beholden to any one side, ideally.
They're supposed to be completely unbiased. They're supposed to read and interpret the Constitution basically as it's written, and not try to pull today's politics into the written word of the Founding Fathers.
Yeah, they are all lawyers.
They
do have a good understanding of law.
I believe they were all judges after.
Probably.
Lawyers, then judges.
Yeah.
That seems to be how it goes. Yeah. But right now what they're saying is that we're kind of stacked 6-3 Republicans on the Supreme Court. So these 2 big issues that are coming up are very, very, very
partisan
issues. So a lot of things are, well, not really, but 2 big things are going to change here within the next month. I have the exact dates, and we'll go over that as time goes. But would you like to add anything else on the court
just
itself?
Real quick. Do you remember when RBG died and people got real mad that she didn't give up her seat during Obama's term?
Yes.
And they're like, oh, he's going to get someone in. They were real mad. They're like, oh, what if they overturn Roe v. Wade? And everyone was like, no, that would never happen. Well, here we are.
Here we are. Wait. Do you remember there was this one girl on TikTok? It was this, I don't know. She was sitting in her car.
And she was crying?
She was fucking screaming.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I still think about that.
Yeah, so people got real mad over that, and it turns out they wasn't just fear-mongering. They might have had a point.
No, it is coming up.
Yeah.
In the case Dobbs versus Jackson's Women Health Organization. In this case, basically it's going to go down to what we talked about in one of our last videos. Mississippi has enacted the Gestational Age Act, which prohibits abortions after 16 weeks of gestation, except in cases of medical emergency or of severe fetal abnormality. So,
well, as we brought up earlier, the most abortions are done in the first, is it 15 weeks anyway?
Well, I know that, let's see, 75% of all nations don't even allow abortions past 12 weeks. So 15 weeks is past what most countries in the world allow anyway. But
this is saying you cannot get one.
Absolutely not. Past 15.
As it is right now, it is your constitutional right to get an abortion without undue hardship.
Until the fetus is viable, correct?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that this is going to overturn that to saying there is no guaranteed right. And in Mississippi, in fact, it's going to be one of the ones where you cannot get one unless it's under, like, maternal, if the mom's in danger or something like that.
Past 15 weeks.
Yeah. No, before 15 weeks.
No. This is the law that they're going for. In 2018, Mississippi put in this law that prohibits abortions post 15 weeks, and that's the case that they're seeing. Dobbs versus Jackson's Women Health Organization. That's the specific one that they're seeing. So they're not going to come out and say that 15 weeks is going to be I guess you're right. They're not going to say 15 weeks is the line. They're going to determine whether this is constitutional or not.
Now you confused me.
Now I'm confused myself.
So yeah, they're
because their job's not to set the line, is what I'm saying. Their job is to
Supreme
take
Court?
the law that's being presented and to say whether it's constitutional or not.
Yes.
So when they come out either way and say, yes, this is constitutional, no, it's not, is 15 weeks going to be the new line? Or does that open the door for even shorter regulations like Texas is, 6 weeks law?
Right. I don't know. It's just enforce a ban on most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. So I guess they're shooting for the 15 weeks.
They are shooting for the 15 weeks. But I believe most abortions take place before the 12-week mark.
Yeah, I thought it was like 90-some percent.
Some outrageous percent, like 92.8% are done before.
So it's really not going to affect most people, but for those that do need it.
I think where it's going to be, like where people are freaking out the most is because of what you said before. Like once you lose a right, you're not getting it back. So once they start infringing on things like this, it's only going to get worse. It's never going to get better.
And that's what we call a segue in the biz.
A segue in the biz. It's kind of like the whole, man, everything comes back to COVID. Everything comes back to COVID.
For our next topic as well. The infringement.
Oh, for sure. But that's what I'm saying. It goes both ways on all topics. Like if you're infringing on this, I mean, then you've got COVID with them forcing people. California just passed today the first K through 12 mandate on vaccination for school.
Oh.
Yep. I saw a lot of angry people on TikTok for that.
I believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the big one that's coming up. We don't want to spend too much time on abortion because we've already talked about it a few times. You guys know my opinion on it. Just be a fucking responsible adult. I spent like a half hour today reading the comments on one TikTok today about these people going on. Oh, gosh. They were going on about abortion. Oh, actually, I wanted to bring it up.
Here we go.
Senator, wow, gosh, where's my phone? We're recording with my phone. I can't remember which senator it was. But senators today came out.
Oh, wants to sterilize people?
He proposed a law.
I'm not against it.
So, my only issue with
tell me what the law was.
Okay, yeah. So he proposed. I'm sure it was a joke. I don't think it's real. But he proposed a law that all men, either after they have their third child or when they reach the age of 40, have to get a vasectomy. So I'm assuming he's joking because that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, but I mean, do you like? You don't. It's not the 1800s. We're not living on a farm. You don't need a bunch of little farm hands running around. Why do you need 6 kids?
You don't. But so my issue with it is
college bill.
Is the false. There's no relevance between the two. He put this out there to say that taking away abortion from a woman is equivalent to sterilizing men after having 3 kids. It's not equivalent. We're not saying that we're not saying that we need to take the uteruses of women. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying we should tie the tubes of women that can't.
You're just saying you gotta live with your
practice
choices.
Safe sex. We are just saying
you made your bed. Now you
so
sleep
well, the thing is it brings in another life. Like now you are bringing in, like, at what point does your personal body overcome the rights of the other life that you've created?
At the point of viability.
Apparently, that's not for us.
Either way, I was joking about the you living on a farm. I don't agree with it that you should probably have 6 kids.
6 kids is a lot,
but it's your this country's built on liberty. That's your choice if you want to do that.
It is your choice,
and that's your bill for all the food every week you gotta pay. If you can afford it, hey, more power to you.
I mean, I honestly don't know how pissed I would be because I plan on having a vasectomy well before I'm 40, and definitely before my third kid, probably.
Right after the second.
Right after the second. Like, oh, you're pregnant? Cool. Snip. I'll do it in my garage. Fuck.
Oh. I got 2 stones. I could probably knock it out for you real quick. Just get 2 sharp stones out back.
Ooh, that was dark. Anyways.
And then let's see what else. This one I'm a little more familiar with. It more pertains to my lifestyle, and that is they're seeing some gun rights, Second Amendment issues.
Yes, New York
coming down.
State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. So this case stems from a couple of guys who are applying to get their CCW, their concealed carry permits, in the state of New York, and they were denied. And now it's gone all the way up to the case, to the Supreme Court.
So for those for you of those that don't, for those of you who don't know, unlike Arizona, which is a constitutional carry, which means the Constitution guarantees our Second Amendment right where we can carry our firearm anywhere.
Open, concealed, doesn't matter.
Right. In some states, such as New Jersey, New York, California, there's a few. You have to apply for a permit to carry your firearm.
Most states you have to apply for a permit to carry.
Well, maybe most.
Yes.
I haven't had to worry about it for a while. But
Right.
So when you do apply, there are some states which are a shall issue, which means when you apply, they have to give it to you if you're not barred from owning one, such as being a felon or having a charge of domestic violence. They will
Mentally
issue
ill.
one. Yeah, they will issue one. Some states are a shall issue, which means, or a may issue, which means it's up to them to decide if you deserve a permit or not.
Right. So you have to
justify your need for one.
Right. You have to prove, one, that you don't go against any of the generalized rules that would bar you from having a firearm, and you've got to say why you need to carry one more than the general public around you.
Right. And it's not always fair how they're given out, but the big thing is now they're arguing. The last big case like this is DC versus Heller, which allowed people to have the guns in their house, saying, quoting the Second Amendment. Now it's saying this is going to extend outside of the house.
So with this case, they're really focusing down on handguns specifically. It's going to decide whether that right to protection extends outside of just your house, and if you're allowed to conceal carry with a permit still. It wouldn't make it constitutional carry across the country.
No, I don't. No,
No.
it's just, are you allowed to apply for the permit and carry one?
It would take
That's how I
away the
interpret
may
part to the shall part.
right, and everyone would have to get would be able to get one, no matter
As long as you're not
what,
barred.
as long
yeah.
as you're not
a
barred.
prohibited possessor.
Right. So, my take on this is very straightforward. The Second Amendment itself does not have very much room for interpretation. It's very short, and it's very to the point.
Yes. I mean, it's already technically been infringed upon, which
For sure.
it's sensible. Like, do people need a tank rolling down the road? No. But then there's similar to what we said earlier. Once they start taking those rights, you're never going to get them back. So, I mean, there's already a lot of taxes imposed on owning different firearms, such as a short-barreled rifle or suppressors. They had a $200 tax stamp on those for no real reason, when those aren't even used for crimes statistically.
Right.
Are you going to bring it up?
I am going to bring it up. So, the Second Amendment itself reads exactly verbatim: a well-regulated militia being necessary to a security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Right.
There's no specification.
No, and people like to say oh, what about modern sporting rifles or hunting? But the Second Amendment wasn't intended for hunting. It was intended to protect yourself against that tyrannical government, and that's why to protect themselves in general. And that's why people want their concealed permit.
Not only that, but I don't think the founding fathers were idiots. They know history. They know that people used to fucking fight with sticks and stones, and they had come to a point where they had guns, right? So it's only logical to think that eventually things are going to change and advance further. There is no wording in here that says
Only muskets.
you can only carry a fucking musket. That's not what it says. They knew that things would evolve and change, as they always have. And they didn't change the wording of how they wrote this.
Right. So like we said before, it is like technically being infringed upon, and a lot of people want to say, "Oh, it's common sense gun laws." I mean, there's
A lot of the common sense gun laws that they're saying, though, whenever I've ever talked to somebody about gun laws, and when they try to bring up these things like background checks, that shit happens.
yeah.
Like, it's not.
Do you watch Always Sunny?
No.
They have one episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where there is the pro-gun, anti-gun, and they go in to go buy a gun. He's like, "I'll take one AR-15, please." He's like, "Sure, I just need to see your license, do a background check." He's like, "Whoa. I thought we could just go in here and give you cash." And he like, no,
it's not like that anywhere. Here in Arizona, it is one of the easiest states to purchase a gun. They still do background checks, for sure.
Yeah.
Except for private sale. But there's no real way to regulate that anyway.
I mean, with the registry, but
We're already part of a fucking registry. And that part makes me laugh too, because gun owners aren't quiet people. It's not like John next door has his guns and doesn't fucking tell anybody. He has a fucking gun sticker on his truck.
Or do you not even go shooting if you don't post about it on Instagram? Does it even count?
Yes. People, I don't use Instagram, so that's kind of a hard one. But gun people, I mean, you give them your ID, they run a background check, someone's got you on a list. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And like I said, gun people aren't quiet people. They go shooting, and if you try to infringe on their rights, they are not quiet.
Yeah. Which brings up another good point. It's the people, I feel like the people that are going the right ways to go about asking for a permit and getting denied aren't the ones you have to worry about.
No, not at all.
Because a criminal wouldn't.
Right.
It's like, "Hey, can I take my gun here?" It's the same way as like the gun-free zones, and we'll get into this in a later
If you've
episode.
noticed that the gun-free zones are the places where most shootings take place.
We'll get into that. But yeah, soft targets, it's a real thing.
It is a real thing, 100%. You don't see, I mean, have you ever seen a mass shooting at a gun rally or at a gun show?
No.
Neither have I. I can't say it hasn't happened. We have
Churches.
Google. We can check it out. But it's always churches and schools.
Movie theaters can't have guns. Not
It's
supposed
always
to.
the place where you can't have guns. They always go to places where no one's going to shoot back because legally abiding citizens don't have guns there.
Yeah. You can't argue with the logic.
No, not at all.
But also, I want to go ahead. I got to figure out how to articulate this next question. I wanted to talk about how the people who were worried about the women who were worried about the right to have their abortion and the gun owners, they're kind of in the same boat.
They are.
Not saying one's more important than the other.
No.
But both groups are, well, gun owners for a long time have noticed their rights slowly fading away, slowly taking back the bump stocks, the crank triggers, SBRs, extended magazines. It's even worse in California.
So one day I was at work, right? And I had a family member of one of my people we somehow got on the gun topic. And I think he was from Chicago or California. Or, I don't know. He was from somewhere where the gun laws are definitely not like here. And he pulls out this picture of a Glock that he had with like the 30-round extended mag. And he's like, "Bro, look at this." And he's like, "Look." And he shows me this picture and he goes, "I got that shit 30 rounds. I was like, "Bro, you're in the wrong fucking state to be talking to me about that." I
got one in my truck.
I had bought a gun the week before, and I pulled up one of our local gun shops, Tombstone Tactical, and they have 100-round
The drum
dual
mag for the
drum mag for a Glock.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Bro," he's like, "You can get that. You can leave right now and pick it up. You don't got to show ID for that shit.
No.
You just pick it up."
So, but the
fine.
point I'm making is that the gun owners have seen their I guess, rights slowly erode. And now abortion people are slowly starting to get noticed as well. Not comparing the two, but it is interesting where I feel people are single issue voters, right? So they're like only care about one thing. But I think as society, we need to come together and start realizing that our rights as a whole are slowly starting to erode as well.
For sure. And this crosses everything. This goes through, I hate to bring it up again, but even the COVID shit. Like, as these rights and these new policies are coming out, they're just slowly chipping away at what choices that we get to make as individuals. That's why my argument, even with abortion, isn't necessarily that it should or shouldn't be illegal, as much as I feel like you should just be a responsible adult. That's what I've come down to every time we've had this conversation. I think we as responsible adults, human beings, high intelligent people should be able to take responsibility for our actions and manage ourselves and not have to have a third party come in to regulate that kind of stuff. Now, that doesn't go with laws as far as murder and all that shit. That's different. But when it comes down to rights, and if that's a dead right, I don't know. I have a big issue with them taking away rights and chipping away at it slowly, because we're never going to get them back.
Right. Even, at this point, they had an abortion as a right, and they potentially might lose it.
They might lose it.
So,
it's just an ugly thing.
And what's the count for the Supreme Court?
What do you mean?
The Republicans versus
6-3.
So 6-3 conservative right now. It's not looking too good on the
abortion side.
Right. Second Amendment might have a chance.
I'm not super worried.
Yeah, but that shouldn't even be the case of why they even have.
The Supreme Court shouldn't function like that.
Right. So especially when their job is just to interpret the constitutionality
for sure
of rulings.
I mean, to be honest, though, the whole ruling of Roe v. Wade in the first place was very
vague,
super vague,
and I think that's one reason why
it's not addressed in the Constitution.
I think that's why they want to revisit it.
Well, it needs to be.
To tighten it up a little bit, because I mean, looking at it, it was like what was the 14th Amendment issue, the right to privacy.
Yeah,
which
so
is like a stretch to.
It was a huge stretch, and they didn't even notify the main defendant in the case.
Oh, really?
Like, the baby was born, they never even notified. I think it was.
I mean, at that point, it's too late.
But shit, what the fuck? No. That's not cool. But it's weird. I don't know. I mean, I feel like overall, where I stand as far as politics in general, I definitely lean more right. But that's only because I believe that we should be able to live free and make our own decisions.
Right. I don't think it should be like lean right or lean left. It should be lean towards liberty. And
I'm sure there's a word for that. But I don't know what it is. I'm sure there is.
Not libertarian.
No. Definitely not.
We'll do a show on that one day as well.
For sure. But I just think that the government needs to keep its nose out of most things in general. Especially my fucking Venmo account. But that's beyond. That's another conversation.
But so that's just really that. We all know that the politicians are just out to get more power, keep the power that they have, make more money. So
it's all about money and control.
Yeah.
Money and control. Yeah. You know what I don't want to talk about that.
Well, we'd love to hear what you guys think about the upcoming. They're hearing the oral arguments December 1st, I think, for the abortion.
Let me bring up my calendar. I actually saved it on my personal calendar because if I'm not doing anything, I kind of want to hear the oral arguments on both topics.
I don't think they're airing it. Isn't it a closed?
Nah, dude.
You sure?
It is going just for through the end of the year. It's going to be streamed on their website.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So on December 1st, we have the abortion case. And then when is the other one? I will find it.
But we will probably shoot a little video with that. But we have we do want to talk about some other things here in the future. We don't talk about gun rights specifically.
November 3rd is the gun case.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So by the end of the year, we'll have. Oh, they won't rule on it, I don't think, until April.
Is that how that goes? I don't know how.
Yeah, I think it takes a little while. They're super busy people.
Oh, for sure, dude. There's so many things. Both of these happen to be full day conversations.
Yeah.
But most days they see multiple cases.
Well, I think they only get like 15 minutes to make their argument.
I don't know, because their whole schedule is posted on the Supreme Court website. And on some days, they have multiple cases that they're seeing. And then on other days, it's very...
The court allows just 30 minutes for each side to present its case.
For each side or for each justice?
Each side. Plaintiff and defendant.
Oh, okay.
So they get 30 minutes. And I was being very facetious when I said they're very busy, because they're really not. They have a lot of staffers they do their rights and their arguments. They get them their briefs, and they have off for 3 months out of the year, always going to speaking engagements. And then even then, they only got 30 minutes for each side to plead their case, and then they go back and think about it for 4 months.
For 4 months?
I mean, November, December, January, February, March, 4 or 5 months.
Does it really take that long?
Yeah.
I mean, because they hear cases on a daily basis. So before they make a decision, they just like fucking talk about other ones forever?
No, what I'm assuming they do is they hear the arguments, and it's obviously transcripted, and then they go back to their chambers and then discuss it, and they reference they'll reference Constitution, and probably I would imagine like what are they, the Jefferson articles and like stuff, how the intention behind the Constitution, to see if it falls in line with not just the written word of the Constitution, but the philosophy of the Constitution. There's a Latin name for it, and I can't remember what it is.
I don't know.
But yeah, so that's what I imagine that they talk about, and then because ultimately they're making history, for better or for worse.
They always do.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep talking about how they keep using the shadow docket to shut shit down early.
Isn't that what they did with Texas?
Mm-hmm. But maybe they did that because they knew that they're hearing this. Yeah.
And they didn't want to rule too early on it.
Yeah, and for sure. And like we talked about before, it's just a very interesting way that Texas worded that to make it not so much of a legal issue.
Yeah, because technically they're not banning it.
No. Which is why it was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talked about that on a previous episode. Which one was it? Third one?
Could be.
Yep.
We only got a couple out. You had a 1 in 4 shot of getting it right.
That's true. All right. Well, I feel like this episode was a little bit shorter than most, but that's okay.
Yep. I think next time we're going to be talking about the debt ceiling. Should be pretty good. Got some good information coming about that.
Yeah, that's such a weird topic.
It's depressing too.
It just doesn't.
Not to ruin it, but can you imagine like if that was your company and you were like that? That's how bad you're running it. Like you're that in debt, and someone walks in, because you have to answer to someone. You would get fired so fast, they would really throw you out the door if every year you're going over your allotted budget and asking for more money. But we'll get into that here.
They pretty much spent the next raise, though. Already? On bills that haven't passed. The $3.5 trillion Build Back Better.
Yeah, that'd be a good topic, too, to discuss.
That fucking thing... I've tried to find it. It's really hard to find. I found a reference to it. It's over 2,000 pages long. It's like 2,400.
I'm sure they read every page. I'm sure there's nothing snuck in there.
Nothing.
About funding different states' programs and stuff.
We'll see. All right, guys. So we're new to this, as you guys can tell. But we're really going to try to get more into our social media accounts and become more consistent on this platform. We've adjusted some work schedules.
Yep. Good news for you guys is that I finally got a set schedule coming up here.
It's the same as mine, so
we can finally schedule stuff like a normal human and get stuff done in a timely fashion.
Right. So sorry about this weekend. This one's not going to come out until Tuesday. Too bad we couldn't get it out today with Facebook being down all day.
Yeah, we had this posted today.
We were going to.
We just couldn't get it out.
We just couldn't get it. Man. We might have got like 10 people to watch.
Maybe. But we appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for next week. And have a good week.
Yep. Thank you.
See ya.